to 3 hours of ASMR chess. I will be using my trusty ChessUp board and my trusty ChessUp app. Let's get that on screen to just play a lot of online games against people on lead chess, random people. I'll be random color, random opponents. Let's search for a game. And we got one very quickly. And I hope that you are supremely relaxed and ready to just relax even more, or even fall asleep during these next 3 hours. Oh wow, that is interesting. So I'm trying the bishop's opening because I made a video about it, and my opponent is playing this very interesting queen g5. It doesn't look like a particularly good move. I mean, could I even sort of try to threaten checkmate right away? I mean, this is beginner chess. I mean, I'm not a grandmaster or anything, but usually I don't go for the scholar's mate, but it may actually be the best move in this position. So I'm of course threatening queen takes on f7, which would, yeah, well, you're going to see it, because queen takes on f7, that is check. There is only one move, king here, and then I capture the bishop with check. So this is probably going to be a pretty short game. King goes here. I could try something like queen check on f7, or I could try bishop f7 with the idea of going queen e8 check. That looks pretty good. Also d4 attacks the queen is pretty good, but I'm not sure exactly how they are going to defend this. So the threat is simply queen e8 check, and yeah, I think I called the video about, okay, queen takes g2. I think I called the video about this bishop's opening. I called it like the best opening for beginners or something, and well, this is why. And then we get the cool animation. And if you want to get the cool animation, and if you want to play on this board, and you want to maybe support this channel a little bit while getting a cool chessboard / super cool chess computer, then you can go to the link I have in the description. It will take you to the ChessUp website, and if you use the promo code ASMR Chess, you will get a 10% discount just for you. Thank you. Now back to the video. I hope that you are so relaxed, and I hope that you are just enjoying the beauty of these delicious pieces, the symmetry and the patterns, the beautiful patterns of chess. And I hope that you are having a great time, that you are allowing yourself to let go. So let go of the stress and the anxiety and everything that can bother all of us. Okay, so I am playing with the black pieces now, and I'm playing a Sicilian here. I think I'll just just let the pieces be like this. Knight f6. And they play d3. They play very, very quickly. I'm not sure if there is a reason to play that quickly. I'll play knight c6. Wow, they are really, really playing quickly here. What sort of setup is this? Could I go for a dragon kind of setup? Could I go for bishop g4, taking this bishop here and putting it on this square right here, g4? Is that a good idea? They can kick it by playing f3, but that looks like their dark squares could become weak. Or I could play g6, bishop g7. That's kind of like a dragon Sicilian. I could play d6, bishop e7, which I kind of like, but I will go for g6 here. This opponent may be really tough, and I'd like to have a formation that I'm very comfortable with. Bishop g5, where I don't have to reinvent the wheel. Bishop g7, getting ready to castle, protecting the knight, getting the bishop on the long diagonal. If you are a regular viewer of the channel, you of course know the secret name of this awesome piece. This is the one-eyed super monster sniper bishop, also known as the dragon bishop in the Sicilian dragon. Okay, they castle. Seems like a very good idea. I guess we castle as well. I am so supremely relaxed right now that I'm actually kind of finding it a little bit hard to calculate. But now we have a sort of nice standard chess position. They are playing f4. I think our opponent in this game is significantly stronger than the opponent in the first game. Where do we put our pieces? They want to play pawn to f5. Should we try to stop that by playing e6? That looks pretty good, I guess. And I think just e6 stops f5. Okay, they are maneuvering their knights, knight g3. So sort of reigniting the threat of pawn to f5. Can we maybe try to get some counterplay? I would love to play a move such as pawn to d5. The problem is this knight is pinned by the bishop, which is a problem. So they couldn't respond with pawn to e5. Maybe we can try something like queen to b6. Maybe that is prudent in this position. Quite okay. Queen c1 looks like a mysterious move, but it is forming a battery with the dark squared bishop, so they can play bishop h6 and re-exchange the bishops. If I play d5, pawn takes, I think it's a pretty big problem that I don't think I can actually play that. I think my position is actually not very good, because of course with queen c1 they also protected b2, so I don't have queen takes b2. can I maybe play maybe knight a5, trying to go after this bishop here, which is a strong attacking piece. I also have knight d4, but that doesn't do that much. Let's play knight a5. And now I will play really quickly because I've spent so much time. So I will not commentate that much on the next moves. I'll just play as quickly as possible because I do gain 5 seconds on every move. And if we do lose this game on time or on position, then that's absolutely fine. Because we are not playing for some grand prize or to make any sort of big change in our lives. It's pretty inconsequential, really, if I win or lose in this. It's all about being relaxed, having a good time, and chilling out. So, what will my opponent come up with? Most moves, I will probably just play knight takes bishop either on c4 or on b3. If we see something like bishop takes knight here, I'll play bishop takes bishop. If we see something like e5, I'm guessing pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn, and knight g4. Okay, our opponent are thinking that they really need to come up with the correct idea here. They just play this, we capture, they recapture, and I play queen here. This is just to gain some time on the clock. Maybe I can now think about playing a move like a6 to take away. Okay, they do this. We absolutely have to capture that. They capture like so. Let's try to activate some more pieces. This diagonal here, the light squared bishop, could be pretty good. I'm thinking they should play bishop takes knight, bishop takes bishop, knight d5, monster square for that. Knight forking queen and bishop, then queen d8, knight takes bishop, queen takes, and then pawn takes g6, because that forces that. Now maybe I have queen d4 in that position, check, and then I can recapture with the pawn. That could be a way out. Right now, of course, knight b5. Maybe that can be met by something like queen c6. Who knows? Maybe we are getting back at our opponent a little bit on the clock here, even though, of course, we are still a long way behind. Okay, they do capture. We do recapture. They do this. This is the whole line we were looking at. And then knight takes bishop was what I was thinking they would do. And then queen takes. And then I was thinking pawn takes. And here I was hoping that queen here check meant that I could play something like pawn takes pawn here. And maybe the position is not that bad anymore. I just need to sort of activate this bishop here. Okay. How are we doing on time? We have these 20 seconds. Is it possible we could be cheeky and play rook h8? Go for an attack against the king. It could be kind of funny. They clearly want to move their queen because they protected b2 by playing rook b1. Okay, like so. I'll try this actually, just because there could be some threats. Okay, queen here. I'm guessing rook here is a move. So that, okay, queen here, rook here. Now I do threaten some stuff here. Rook takes pawn, queen takes, rook takes. Not completely sure how they are defending that. Okay, knight here. I think we'll try this. Rook check, queen takes, rook takes, like so. King takes, check. They go back, I guess, check. What do they want to play? Should we go for a draw, friendly draw? They go here, check. Here. Let's just advance this pawn. I'm guessing something like knight f3 could be interesting for them. Guessing something like queen here. Maybe we will be threatening some bishop h3. Okay, here. I guess we try to threaten the knight. Here. Let's just try to keep everything under control. It's not necessarily super easy to play this position with very limited time. I think I'll try to close the structure. Maybe these backward pawns are a weakness, who knows? Okay, they activate the rook. Should we just chop this off? I mean, knights are tricky pieces, right? Okay, they didn't capture that. That is very weird. That is extremely weird to me. I mean, they do gain this, but I mean, now I should be actually winning. What's the time? Oh, it's because they are low on time as well. And then we got the animation because we won on time. So the situation there were like, I had 20 seconds left and they had 4 minutes, and then I started playing faster, and then they didn't find the right plane. I think they had a very, very good position. I was probably positionally completely busted, but they made some exchanges in their attack that sort of took out the gas a little bit, and then they allowed me to get the rooks here on the open file and allowed me to start attacking, and then they got in time trouble and made a lot of mistakes in the time trouble. Particularly not capturing the bishop was a big mistake. So let's reset the board and just play another game. So let's take the app. Let's see if we can win a third straight game here. We will play as random. We're not going to have any hints. We'll play online. We'll play 5+5. I think that works pretty well. Play on leeches. Play against someone random. Right. And let's see if we get the white pieces or the black pieces. And yeah, of course there's a link in the description that you can buy the chessboard. You can support me on Patreon. Or you can just watch the video. Or even just listen to the video. And you don't have to do anything right now. You can just chill out. You don't even have to think about the moves. You don't have to do anything. this is your time. And I have a game here. I'm white now. And yeah, I'll be doing all of the thinking. And you are invited to think along if you want to. And if not, then... Okay, we have the Petrov defense here. That's interesting. I don't know anything about the Petrov defense. What's the rating of our opponent? 1500. So I guess they know what they are doing. Should we just sort of challenge them? Is it correct to capture the pawn? I have no idea about this. I never studied the Petrov. I'm playing bishop c4, allowing them to capture on e4. And if they do that, I'm thinking that I can capture on e5 with a threat, but maybe it's not a threat. Okay, they play d5. Wow. So I am guessing I will have to capture that. Okay, let's see if our opponent can teach us a little bit about the Petrov here. So I guess they now play e4. That looks very natural. No, they capture here on d5. Well, that I was not afraid of. I'm thinking I could maybe capture on e5, but there could be some theory that I don't know about. So maybe I should castle instead. Let's say castles, bishop, g4. Is that a problem? It's kind of a problem. If knight takes pawn, so it's like it's probably going to be some queen move, right? Like knight takes pawn, queen, g5. I think there's like some opening like that. But queen g5, knight takes f7 though. Queen g2. Or I could be like super boring and play h3 to take away bishop g4. Or I could be even more boring and play bishop takes knight. h3. I guess I will play the super boring h3 just because I have no idea what this position is. Yeah, they play e4, so they know about this position. I'm guessing knight e5 is sort of the only move, or maybe queen e2 could be good. Try queen e2, on knight f4 I have queen takes pawn check. Okay, f5. So here I may be able to castle. Maybe I can get away with that. Maybe I can play pawn to d3. I think I'll just... No, now they want to play... I think I'll play pawn to d3 because then there's no knight f4 because I have bishop takes f4. And then I can castle. And I think I may be surviving this very... I think maybe it's a dubious way my opponent played this. Maybe. Okay, they attack here. I'll just go back. Maybe I would have even had d takes here. Okay, what is this? That can't be. That can't. This is completely nuts what my opponent is doing here. Pawn takes e4. Knight here, and I'm saying that bishop takes knight is probably quite good. They have to play pawn takes. Do we want to play queen takes? Check. That looks pretty good. Check. Okay, and I'll just speed up here a little bit. Okay. But this is a huge blunder. Take that. They played this, of course. Oh, okay, so I have to go back. they block with the pawn. I do have to go back. They capture like this. I recapture like this. Check. And they block with the bishop. I finally castle. And I guess I have a very, very good position maybe. Here, that's the blunder. I can capture this pawn. Now I have moves like, okay, check here, and I guess here. Oh wait a minute, I could just have captured that. That was ridiculous. I had in my mind that bishop was, defended somehow. It's not. I could just have captured that. Okay, but now I can. Check. Now we should be able to finish this game in short order. Here and checkmate. Okay, so I spent a lot of time in the opening there. I didn't mean to, but I'm not that experienced with playing e4. But I've been doing all these opening videos where I've been learning about all this stuff about e4. So I wanted to try it out in practice. And actually we have the same scholars mate type made on f7. But of course e4 is a huge area of chess, and having been playing d4 for so long, there are many standard things in e4 territory where I don't know exactly the correct plan, so I have to spend some extra time figuring it out. Let's reset the board once again and play some more chess. We have won, I think, 3 games in a row now, which is nice. And I think our opponents have been, the first one was quite a bit below our skill level here on the channel, but the second opponent was quite good. I had a winning position, I think, against me, and this opponent posed some problems for me in the opening, but I managed to navigate it and managed to win the game. Okay, so let's go see if we can make it 4 out of 4 wins, shall we? Okay, we will play against someone random on lead chess. We will play 5 plus 5 and someone random. Let's go like so. Oh, we got an opponent right away. And I'm playing with the black pieces here. Let's go for the Sicilian again. See if we can get into the dragon maybe. I made a video on that a long time ago. I think it's the most popular video I have ever made here on YouTube. And they are playing what is known as the open Sicilian. So the game so far has been e4, c5, knight f3, d6, d4, c takes d, knight takes d4. And now we play knight f6. We can go into many Sicilians here, but we are now choosing to play g6 after knight c3, and this is going to be the Sicilian dragon. Very standard opening. Looks like our opponent knows the theory. This could be dangerous. They play bishop e3. We play bishop g7. I guess they're going to play something like f3. They're going to go for the Yugoslav attack. They could also play bishop c4, which is known as the Fischer bishop in this opening. And Fischer famously said that it's very, very easy to... they play f3. It's consistent with the Yugoslav attack. I think I'll hold back on castling. I'll play knight c6 after f3. Well, Fischer said that against the dragon, all you had to do was open up the h file as white, and then sacrifice, and then checkmate, which is of course, a little sad for us Sicilian dragon players that the dragon can be dismissed so easily. But I would like to note, Castle, that Garry Kasparov defeated Vishwanathan Anand in the World Chess Championship in 1995 in 2 games as black with the Sicilian dragon. So if it is good enough to beat Vishy Anand, who is one of the greatest chess players to ever live, okay, they castle long. This is all consistent with the Yugoslav attack. If that's possible, then we play bishop d7. Then it's good enough for me. The humble ASMR chess patzer. Okay, they do go for bishop c4. I'm pretty happy about that, actually, because I fear the lines with bishop e2 a little more. We now play rook c8, and I guess they will play king b1. This is a very theoretical game. No, okay, they play the other one. Yes, of course, you have to play bishop b3 first. And now we should consider a move such as knight e5, which we will play here, because we want to be able to play knight c4, forking the queen and the bishop, so that they will have to play bishop takes knight. We will then recapture with the rook. This is a common theme. White has some very, very good bishops in this opening, and if we can get rid of one of them, exchange one for a knight, then that's really good for us. Okay, they go for the standard attack. I can't remember if I'm supposed to play h5 right away, or if I'm supposed to play knight c4. Knight c4, bishop takes, rook takes. And then can they maybe then play g5, knight e8, h4. I'm not sure. I think I'll just go for knight c4 here. And we are going to see bishop takes knight. Then we are going to say rook takes bishop. And then I'm guessing they can play g5, and maybe it's a big challenge for me. But I will be able to maybe play knight h5 there. Okay, so they try to go for exchanging the bishop right away. And I think the correct idea here is something a little... I think I have to be a little courageous here. I have to play bishop takes bishop, queen takes bishop, rook takes knight, pawn takes knight, and then try to attack. So I think that's what we are going to go for. So they play here, then rook takes here. Let me just check the time. We have 2 minutes. We have to play a little faster. And now queen a5, I believe, is the move. And so we have plans like rook c8 and trying to attack the king. Okay, that's interesting. King b2, rook c8 immediately, going after c3. And we could be doing okay here, or we could also be losing. This could be a well-known theoretical position that, you know, some super grandmaster would just say, oh, it's a forced draw. I have no idea, but we have given up quite a lot of material. So now we have to figure out a way to activate some more pieces. For instance, this knight could be quite nice to get into the game somehow. There's not going to be some bishop takes, pawn on g4, pawn takes, knight, maybe knight, wow. Bishop takes, pawn takes, knight takes, e4, queen takes check. That defends here. So there you go back with the queen. And I don't have a follow-up. Okay, but it is an interesting idea lurking in the position. Knight takes, pawn takes. Bishop takes, pawn takes, knight takes e4, queen takes check, queen takes check, king b1, and then we don't have anything check. Okay. So I guess I'll just have to play a move here. I spent all the time trying to find something amazing, and I didn't. And now okay, knight goes back. We play queen c7. I have a troubled feeling about this position, but it's all good. It's all good. We are not, this is not a money match. They play h4, we play h5. We may have, if we can just find a way to distract this queen, we will be so happy. Because we have this battery of the queen and rook. If they play, okay, they go here. Oh, did I lose on time? Oh yeah, I lost on time. I guess it's only fair that we lost this one on time. Our opponent played very well. I think we may be doing kind of okay. Could we have maybe something like pawn takes here? Pawn takes, because I think we actually got what we wanted after this. I think we are actually very, very happy here. They have to stay somewhere where they keep protecting this. So maybe queen here or something. And then knight here, and we are pretty happy, I think. So yeah. So you can't win them all. But you can win some of them. And now I'll just have a little break, and you can just relax, because you won't notice the break, because I'll edit it out. Okay, here we are in game 5. Let's try a d4 opening and see what we can do now. Okay, wow, they play Benoni, old Benoni. I hate playing against it. I'm going to play c3 and go for a Colle setup, or maybe something resembling a London system. So I'm going to play bishop f4, e3, try to avoid theory here. Just play bishop f4, e3, bishop d3, castles. Okay, they know what they're doing, our opponent here, which is alarming, but we will try to play quite quickly, not spend all of our time in the beginning of the game for this one. So, okay, they do capture. I think that's a little unambitious of them, because now, what? Bishop b4 though? What is that supposed to do? We could start by kicking that. So they go here, and I'm actually quite comfortable just playing knight c3. If they want to capture that, I'm super happy about that. So yeah, it's okay. They castle, so we play rook c1. You can see I don't know the strength of my opponent. It's because I'm playing these unrated games, And I'm not looking too much at the app, I'm just here with the physical board, which I like very much. They play a6. I think we should maybe start thinking about some kind of attack, maybe. This knight is not doing so much. We will play knight e5. Our opponent, it seems that they were unsure about our strength, so they just played a lot of common sense moves. But it seems that they have allowed us to get two very good bishops, and their own pieces are a little underdeveloped compared to ours. Okay, they now capture the knight. I think I may consider recapturing with the rook, since I already have the bishop threatening this square here, but on the other hand, being able to play a move such as b takes c and then c4. So the big questions becomes, if I play b takes c, will they play b5? I think they will, so we capture with the rook, and they play knight here. So knight e4 attacks the rook. If I play rook c7, they may try to distract the bishop by playing f6, bishop f4, g5. It looks like it's very, very weakening for them, so I think actually I will try this. Okay, so here the idea is that my rook could be exposed to some attacks by them, but I think they would weaken their king so much in that process that it would be well worth it. Also, I can sort of bail out by just playing, okay, knight here. That's an interesting way of going about it. So they now want to play queen takes rook, because the knight is obscuring. But I think a move like queen g4 could be good here, because it threatens mate, and if they try to play f6, it still threatens mate because of the rook, like so. And that was a pretty smooth game. Yeah, you know, I do this a lot when I don't know my opponent's strength. I just play common sense moves, develop pieces, follow like a pretty standard structure, get the king castles, let my pieces do something, and just wait to see how the situation develops. And often it works like a charm. Like, you don't have to force the win. Sometimes you don't even have to win. Your opponent just has to lose. And a lot of times in chess, your opponent are perfectly able to lose the game themselves. You don't really have to do that much. So let's reset the board. Okay, now I'm thinking we should try a rated game. Playing pawn to e4, our opponent. We will play the Sicilian defense. I'll turn this around. But this is a rapid game, and they are playing the Smith-Morra against us. Wow. So we are capturing that. I just did a video on this. Okay, they play this weird queen takes. So that is not the main move in the Smith-Morra Gambit. Okay, so I was thinking that we would get a strong opponent by playing a rated game, but this my opponent is doing looks kinda off. But they did spot that I was threatening to play bishop b4. They did spot that. I guess we are doing quite well. Their queen seems quite misplaced. knight f6 here, but at least we're not winning in 2 moves. And yeah, we both have 15 minutes for this game. And wow, they play e5, so we play knight d5 attacking the queen. I think we will be able to maybe capture the e5 pawn after this. Whatever the case, we have 15 minutes each plus 10 seconds for every move. So we have plenty of time. I thought we would try that, maybe get some deeper games, but our opponent is playing a very funky, very funky style of chess here. They are protecting their pawn, and maybe I think we'll just play queen c7 because they are also threatening on g7. So if we play some bishop c5 or whatever, it could be the case that they could play queen takes on g7. How about knight takes, and maybe bishop d6. That looks quite good. So if knight takes, queen takes, knight takes, that's less good. So what are we doing here exactly? Position should be very good, but maybe it isn't. Maybe it's an optical illusion. Maybe I play d6, pawn takes, bishop takes, queen takes g7. Maybe I play f6. I think f6 is pretty good. f6. Now the only move I am concerned with now is that they could play c4, attacking the knight. That may actually be a problem. Is that a problem? Not necessarily, because I can play the in-between move knight takes e5. So their development is very questionable. If they play bishop f4, I think I'll just capture that. Be quite happy. If they play c4, knight takes e5, pawn takes, knight, probably knight takes, knight check first, queen takes, and then queen takes c1. So okay. I'm very happy about this game because it looked like, okay, they play bishop f4. It looked like we were going to get an easy game when they played this weird variation with the queen. But then I was pleasantly surprised that it was not going to be that easy. But now after bishop f4, we play knight takes, bishop on f4. I guess they will have to play queen takes, against which we can play knight takes or pawn takes. They're thinking an awful lot, is it because they are considering something a little crazy like pawn takes f6? They are. Okay, now let's get thinking. We can play, there are many things we can play here. We can just play g takes, or we can play knight. No, we can't really move the knight because the knight is pinned to the queen, but we could play knight takes g2 check. Then if queen takes, we then play pawn takes on f6, which looks pretty good, I think. It's also winning a pawn. I think that is what we are doing, unless it helps them develop. Let's say we play knight takes g2 check. If bishop takes, then queen takes queen, pawn takes, and still we have pawn takes, and it still looks quite alright. We also have queen a5 check, which looks quite interesting as well. They play c3. We have no follow-up checks because there's no check on e5 because the knight covers that. I think we are just capturing here. Check. If they play bishop takes, we play queen takes. If they play queen takes, we play pawn takes. and we should be, they play queen takes, then we play pawn takes, and this whole thing has been about me or us, you know, because you're all on the team. I hope you know that you're all on this team, Team ASMR Chess. It's all been about us being really cramped, and we want to play d5. Okay, they play this c3, and can we play d5 immediately, unleashing our pieces? We could also consider playing b6, bishop b7 in order to look at this diagonal here, but I prefer playing d5 here just to get some control of the center, which my opponent has relinquished or not been able to get in. Okay, so they play bishop b5. I am not necessarily that afraid of that move. We could consider just playing bishop d7, and they castle. That is of course allowed in this position, although I would say it does look quite risky. We are going to also castle, and the fact that we captured their g-pawn means that this configuration of king and queen are going to be a potential liability for them, because we are going to move this bishop on f8 somewhere, then the rooks will be connected and protect each other, and then a move such as any rook to g8 will be a big problem for them. And I think we may actually be able to just capture that pawn actually, because bishop takes b4, pawn takes, and then rook g8 is winning, I think. And I'm not sure why, but I don't want to do that. I only want to play d6, bishop to d6, also forming a battery, looking at h2. I guess I could have won this pawn on b4, but this looks like a clean, easy win where they don't have any counterplay. And let's give a shout out to the stereo microphones. While we think about what our opponent could do in this position. What could they do? What could they do? They will probably need to play king h1, which is not a very nice move to play. And I think our advantage is very, very, very large. We can play pawn to e5, pawn to e4. Just have these two monster bishops pointing at their king side. We have these rooks. And I think we have a winning positional advantage. Our materials is almost equal. But we are up a pawn. They have lost 3 pawns because we won a pawn on g2. And now we will win the queen, I believe. Not sure how they are going to defend against, like, what rook should we do? Always move the other rook. Always move the other rook. So I like instinctively I want to play rook on h to g8, but why am I interested in having a rook on d? I don't know, but this is what I will do, and that's a huge problem for them. And I think we will win the game in short order. Pretty sure both rook moves were winning. We can now play bishop take h2, bishop takes h2 check. Queen can't capture that because it's pinned to the king, and there is no real way to even save the queen. So they play queen takes rook, we play rook takes queen. That is check. King will have to go to h1. I just noticed that there is a knight on f3, which means that there is no bishop takes h2. But we can try to open up for this light squared bishop, try to get that in the game by playing pawn to e5. We are now thinking about bishop h3, bishop g2. Okay, they try to exchange some rooks. Do I want to play queen d8, rook takes rook, queen takes rook, rook g8, queen e6, get the queen here? Or is it better to just play rook takes rook? They will respond with rook takes rook. Now they are threatening rook g8, but they would have to play bishop takes c6 first, and then after that we can recapture with the pawn on b7. So I'm not too afraid of that, really. Do I want to even play... But I don't want to play e4, because knight d4, it could in some world, in some way, could be a problem. And if I play, I'm not entirely sure actually. I'll play a6, and if they capture, I will recapture with the pawn, having a very simple position. If they play rook g8, I will play knight back to d8, because I have this winning advantage, but it's okay. They do capture. Okay, so then I play pawn takes b7, giving my king an escape square on b7. So I play pawn on b7 takes c6. Now the king can go to b7. So I'm even less afraid of checks on g8. And now what? They want to maybe come to a5 with their knight, but it's not really dangerous at all. Although, you know what I'm going to do? This is going to be really annoying for them. I'm just going to play bishop e6, because it covers g8, and I'm just going to sit here on my advantage. Everything is protected. This pawn center is so dominating. The bishops are way better than the knight in this sort of semi-open position, and of course the queen quite a bit better than the rook. So okay, but that's the problem. You see, I just defended that. So they play rook g8, and we play bishop takes rook on g8, and I guess it's time for them to resign the game, because... And they did, they resigned the game. So that was fun. Let's do another one of those. So now we are searching for another Lichess rapid game, 15 minutes plus 10 seconds. And we got the white pieces. Let's try an e4 opening, because I have made so many videos. On e4 they play c5, we will play knight f3, hoping for the Magnus Carlsen trap, and we do get the Magnus Carlsen trap. I have a video on this, and the Magnus Carlsen trap is you play b4 here, and this is a very, very fun opening that I'm very happy that we get to play. So they play pawn takes. Then the correct move is d4. This is all theory. Then, okay, they play the boring one, which is e6. The fun one is if they play d6, and against this, it's bishop d3. It's just bishop d3. If they play d5, we can play e5, and okay, knight f6. Guess we just castle, and now I am out of theory here. I guess a move such as a3, a move such as c3. Against c3 they can probably just play a5, so maybe a move like bishop g5 could be really interesting. Or should I play... No, okay, of course here I play c4. I play c4, and if they capture en passant, I will recapture with the knight, and if they don't, I have a really strong center. c4. We did give up a pawn in this opening. Probably Stockfish will tell me that black is slightly better here, but I do like my position. If they don't capture that pawn, we have a lot of control of the center. They don't capture en passant. So what do we do? I think we may actually be able to play pawn to a3 here. We could play pawn to d5. We could play pawn to e5 because it sort of traps their knight. Where is that knight going? So pawn to e5. If knight g4, then just h3, knight h6. Probably just bishop takes knight. So that would be pawn to e5, knight here, pawn here, threatening the knight. The knight has no good squares, so knight back to h6, and we can probably just play bishop takes, pawn takes. They have a ruined pawn structure, but they may get counterplay here along this file. So I don't feel I want to do that quite just yet. Then we can consider playing pawn to a3, which I quite like. If a5, just pawn takes, but they may be able to just play knight takes. Probably not that. Then we have moves like bishop f4, and we have d5. If d5, e takes d, c takes d, probably knight goes maybe to a5. I think I will play bishop f4, and then I'm thinking I will play d5, because then I would potentially be threatening to go all the way to d6, now backed up by the bishop. So I think this opening gambit has gone very well, very well. I'm very happy. We have this nice center control. Okay, wow. Okay, so this is probably a really good idea for them, but it could be a problem still. So they play bishop a6. The idea is d5, e takes d, c takes d, bishop takes bishop, queen takes bishop, knight a5 or knight b8, and then d6, then bishop back, and then e5. That looks very good. So we will try this d5 idea, just trying to stifle them, just trying to box them in completely. We have this, like they do have this extra pawn, but we control so much of the board, right? We control so much of the board. So let's see how they react. Okay, they play knight here, knight a5. So that threatens to capture on, so that does threaten to capture on c4, but we could consider just playing pawn to d6, because they would have to react to that, and then after that we can probably play e5, and then we are just they are just so boxed in. So I think this is too good to pass up on. Like this pawn to d6 is just, if this works, I mean, what are they going to do now? Because by capturing the bishop, I'm also threatening the queen, and yeah, we got this very nice space advantage out of the opening. Oh wow, what? Wow, that is such a cool move they did there. That is amazing. That is now pinning this pawn to my bishop, which is really crafty of them, and they are actually now threatening to play bishop takes. So I guess we play e5. Now they will play knight h5 because it attacks the bishop. But I think even though we are actually giving up another pawn here, I think we are giving up another pawn, though maybe not. Can we even play like this position? It's so cool. I love this position. So they are threatening the bishop, but if we just play bishop g3, that should be very good. They still have to move their own bishop, and we can consider trying to attack their rook. We could also try to preserve the bishop. I like just bishop g3. I'm in love with this position. I'm not sure it's necessarily winning because it's quite complicated, but look at the positional factors here. Look at those 2 pawns, like those are worth much more than 1 point each, that is for sure. And like our center control is so great. Okay, they save the bishop like this, but that gives us time to play a move that we really want to play, which is knight on b to d2. I think I'm not blundering anything here, because now we are protecting the c4 pawn twice, and we got the last light piece out of the back rank. Their knight is a little funky here on h5. It's interesting that they didn't want to capture the bishop on g3. Maybe they will do that very soon. We can now also play moves like rook c1. If they play bishop b7, we play probably just rook c1 and then wait to play bishop e4 ourselves. Okay, they castle. I mean, bishop takes h7 check, king takes, knight g5 check, bishop takes, queen takes h5, and bishop to h6, because otherwise they're losing that as well. And that may be a little bit too much. So how about a move like knight d4, attacking their knight? Where is it going? Okay, bishop takes, h7 check, king takes, knight g5 check, bishop takes, queen takes. So that's, we've regained a piece, so we lost 2 points of material. They have to play bishop h6. We have the queen here. We could play a move like knight f3 that could potentially be threatening. Move like knight g5 check, but king can go back, and maybe it's not that big a deal. King will have to go back to g8 though, because otherwise knight takes on f7 will be too strong. Yeah, this is an interesting one. We could also just play rook c1 and say that their position is they can barely move, but probably they want to play pawn to f4. That is probably their big plan. The knight g5, threatening their knight, they play g6, maybe bishop takes, pawn takes. It doesn't do that much. How about bishop h4? If they get f5 in, if they do get f5 in, that could be a problem. This is a difficult one. They are playing it quite well. The problem is that knight d4 is just not doing that much. They will play g6 protecting their knight, but it is still a weakness. I guess we'll also have to play a move. So knight d5, the queen is now attacking their knight. They will probably have to play g6. If they play knight takes, I think I should be very happy. Knight takes bishop. In that position, I may even consider capturing with the pawn to open up the rook. Potentially, even though my inclination is to play they play pawn to f6, and I thought that would hang the knight, and we threaten checkmate, like so. Maybe they missed that. I don't think they missed that because they've been playing so well. I mean, everyone can blunder, of course. And now they are in very deep trouble because we get to infiltrate. I guess we just play queen g6, threatening some nasties on h7. They can try to run to f7, but we have this extremely strong d pawn covering d6, so bishop g6 will actually be checkmate there. So they have to now play f5, and then our knight will be doing something on d4, because we can then play knight takes on d4. Pawn takes, bishop takes, and we should be doing quite well there. So this game was a thrill, and it's not finished yet. It's not finished yet. Yeah, they do play f5, so my idea was knight takes. I could also play knight takes on e6, because d takes and then queen takes, that's check, and then I can probably also win the other pawn. So I think this is very good, because now these two pawns will become even stronger, and it's of course threatening a checkmate here, so on g7 I mean, so they do probably have to capture that, and yeah, they do capture that. I'll just check that we are not losing on time. We have a good 3 minutes, so queen takes here, that's check. King goes to h8, I guess, and then probably bishop takes on f5. Okay, they go here, and then bishop takes on f5 should be good, because we are actually not blundering the c4 pawn, because the queen is kind of neatly. Okay, they gave up the exchange sacrifice in order to get some counter play here. We will recapture that, like so. So now they can get the pawn, but I mean, like these two are quite strong, and we are even threatening to just advance them. We have check on f8 if we need that. We have moves like e6, d, e7, e8 with another queen. That would be cool. Okay, they do capture with the knight. I think we will recapture that, so they can capture with their bishop, and then actually we are probably just going to play pawn to e6, and it's okay, they capture the exchange here. I don't think that's too much a problem. I will recapture, and funnily that means the position, like materially, we are about equal, although we are ahead a pawn, but of course the quality of the pieces, they have these three on their back rank, and they have these pawns here that aren't doing anything, and this queen check should just about decide the game. King here, so we either play e7 or we play bishop to e5, threatening checkmate. Probably there's only one move there, which would be bishop here, and then queen takes, rook takes, bishop takes, pawn takes. But how about just e7? If bishop takes, queen takes, now we have this simplified position, and we are up a bishop, and we have this killer pawn on d6, and we are going to play bishop e5, threatening checkmate, and our opponent has 0 counterplay. Their rook is terrible. Their queen is okay, and their king safety is also very, very questionable. So yeah, we're having a good time in this game. We are having a good time in this game. So, okay, they queen g8, maybe just, I think I'll actually, okay, it's because they want to play rook. I'll play pawn to d7 just to take away rook e8, so that they are not evicting our queen. They'll do this. I will do this. This now actually threatens bishop takes. Bishop, okay, they go here. But I was thinking that bishop takes g7, because if queen takes, then queen takes rook. So that looks good. And unless I missed something, we are doing quite well. Having quite an advantage here, and also a good time. And I hope you are having a good time wherever you are. I hope that you are relaxed. I hope that you are finding some entertainment in this, or some relaxation. I hope that you are just melting into the surface you are lying on or sitting on, just letting your brain tingle, tingle, tingle all the way, and just getting that nice, relaxing ASMR feeling. This is all for you. This is just your space. This is all for you. If you want to sleep, you can sleep. If you want to calculate moves or evaluate positions, you can calculate moves and evaluate positions. This is all for you, and there is no requirements. You are actually already doing a fantastic job just by being there. And with that, our opponent resigned. Now that was a very enjoyable game. Let's have another one. Okay, we are playing another rapid game. We have the white pieces again. Let's open with pawn to e4 again. Okay, they play pawn to e5. Should we try the bishop's opening, or should we try knight? I feel like knight f3, because we already had one game with the bishop's opening, and this is also, it is a better move. What? Bishop d6? Well, that is not a very good move. I almost want to play d4. I'll just play bishop c4. Why are they playing their bishop to d6? That is the weirdest way I have ever seen anybody defend the e5 pawn. I don't think this is a cutting-edge opening theory. I think we are just playing against someone, even though it's a rated game, I think we're playing against someone who is new to chess. There is no shame in that, by the way. If you are like, I have some comments about people say, I like watching the videos, but I'm not good enough to actually play chess. Like, if you know most of the rules, you can have a great time playing chess. And it's not our job to play chess. It's not, you don't have to do it super well. It's an thing you do for enjoyment. Just, have a good time, find out what you like in chess, and just do that. Our opponent is deep in the tank. After e4, e5, knight f3, bishop d6 and bishop c4, and our opponent is just thinking, how are we going to turn this around? So why is this bishop d6 such a bad move? Well, first of all, it has no threats. It's a purely defensive move with no other, no other ideas except defending the e5 pawn. Now they play knight f6. Second of all, it blocks in the d7 pawn. So it cramps black's development, and it moves a bishop out before a knight. It breaks all the rules. Should I castle here? If I castle there, like for sure going to play knight takes e4, bishop, maybe rook e1, but then their bishop is actually doing something, because then they can play maybe f5. I mean, we just castle if they want to. If they want to play knight takes e4 here, I think we should let them. Knight takes e4, rook e1, f5, d3, knight. Okay, they're not taking the bait. Then I think a move such as pawn to c3 could be good, so that we can play pawn to d4 supported by the c3 pawn. And now maybe it was a mouse slip that they went to d6. They're playing bishop back to e7. I don't know if I can play d4 or if I should play d3 first. d4, knight takes e4, rook e1, f4, d3, knight somewhere, knight takes pawn, rook to e. It looks pretty good. I'll just do it. Nike, just do it. And okay, they play pawn to d6. So I will play pawn to h3, so that there's no bishop g4. And okay, they play pawn takes pawn. The idea was pawn takes pawn. Okay, now they do play knight takes, so we have gambited this pawn. Maybe we are being really reckless here. I was thinking that rook e1 would be pretty good, but of course they can just play knight f6 and say that we have just given up a pawn for no reason at all. Now this pawn to d5, not too sure about that move. How about we just play bishop b3? But I must say that we have played this like quite badly. I think I played this quite badly. We are down a pawn, and our opponent is actually not really behind in development or anything. Knight c3. If knight takes knight, pawn takes. Okay. Bishop b4. Our opponent started playing much better all of a sudden. It's a little curious, maybe. They are threatening on c3. So what do we do here? Bishop takes d5 doesn't work because because knight takes knight. How about a move? But I think queen d3 is met accurately by bishop f5. We could play bishop d2, but then they play knight takes, and that's annoying. We could play rook takes knight. Pawn takes, that's not good. So yeah, what are we doing? I guess we will just play bishop to d. I guess we'll just play bishop d2. Just take care of the problems. And it's curious how our opponent played on the second move an absolutely howler of a horrible move that sort of showed that they had very limited understanding of chess. And then we were relaxing and having a good time and playing some easy moves. Not maybe the most accurate, but they were playing what looked to me like they were playing perfectly. And I think black has the advantage now. So that's quite curious how that could happen. So what will our opponent do now? I guess knight takes bishop. We play maybe queen takes. They are really thinking here, having a great long think. I think we may be threatening to play knight takes on d5. Knight takes here, maybe threatening that, I'm not completely sure. And I think if they just play knight takes bishop, they just have an excellent position. I have no particular compensation for my pawn, and I don't think I'm losing necessarily, but I will be, the position will be like -1 or something, I'm pretty sure. Our opponent, however, not moving, refusing to move. Did they disconnect? Let me just check. They did not disconnect, but what could they be thinking that much about? Like, if I were black in this position, I would probably just play knight takes on d6, because then if queen takes, the queen is now pinned, making white's position a little harder to play. I don't know. Queen takes bishop, queen takes knight, or maybe move like. Is it because they are concerned that we are attacking on d5? Is that the whole thing? We are attacking on d5. If they are okay, they play bishop takes knight. That's quite a surprise, but it does solve the whole problem. I guess just maybe I should actually play bishop takes, but no, I'll play b takes on c3, and yes, we are down a pawn. Okay, knight a5. That's a pretty good move, I would say. But on the other hand, if I play bishop c2 and they play knight c4, which is a good square for the knight, we will then be able to play bishop takes knight, pawn takes knight, and rook takes. So I think actually that this is okay. And if they play, okay, bishop f5 now. Okay, so if I play c4 and they play knight takes, that's just bad. It is quite disturbing how well my opponent is playing this game. It is quite disturbing. I will play rook b1, covering b2, so that there will be no knight c4, knight b2. Okay, activating the other rook here. They play rook e8, and I guess knight e5. So the idea here is knight on c5 is defending c4. Okay, they play all these super principled moves. They play c5, but if I play pawn to c4, knight takes pawn, that could potentially be good. Let's see if we can make that work. Pawn to c4, but there are so many things they could do. They could play knight takes bishop, queen takes knight, pawn on c takes pawn on d, but then also after c5 they are defending the knight, but I would be attacking the b7 pawn. Maybe it's time to try to get rid of their knight. Bishop takes, or maybe something wild like queen f3. Bishop takes knight, bishop takes bishop, maybe there we could play something like queen h5, threatening a potentially dangerous check, bishop back to g6. It's crazy how well they're playing this game. If queen f3, knight takes d2, things queen f3 doesn't threaten much after bishop back to g6, but then maybe bishop f3, knight takes bishop, queen takes bishop, potentially threatening on h7. Let's see. Queen f3, knight takes bishop, queen takes bishop, knight takes rook, queen h7, check, king f8, queen h8, king, and then I discovered, I think we will try that. Queen f3, bishop g6, knight takes, but the problem of the knight takes is knight takes on d6. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. c4, knight takes. What about g4, bishop g6? I've spent so much time here. We'll play g4. Pawn to g4. Got precision. I think this is a pretty weird game. Our opponent plays so badly on the second move, like demonstrably bad, and then they are playing all these amazing moves. Are we playing bishop takes bishop, or are we playing, I think we're just playing queen takes, and then they're playing bishop takes bishop. No, they play, but that does give the pawn back, it looks like. So let's try to get back in the game a little bit. It's pretty crazy. I can't play rook takes. I can't play rook takes on e4 because they play f6. So I play rook e3, and let me check on the time. And they play rook takes, which is of course shows that I was playing a blunder. And you know what? I'm not sure I really want to finish this game, to be honest. I feel that I'm not, I don't want to be one of those guys, but I'm not sure my opponent played this game too fairly, to be honest. So I think we will resign this game and go on to a different game. Okay, let's have another game. Let's see if we can get an opponent with a playstyle that is more understandable for me. And so we are playing black now, it seems, and they play d4. We will play knight f6. I'll just keep it like this. Okay, they played the London. Let me just actually turn this around. Let's try for some d6, just something simple. Knight f3, is that the Jobava London? What is that move? I don't know too much about that. We will play g6, like so. Bishop g7 will come. We will probably play knight b to d7. They play d3. It does look like a Jobava London type of setup. We play bishop g7. They will play knight to f3. Maybe they will put it on e2. They are thinking here. They are playing pawn to g4. Okay, I will capture that. That was a very surprising move. This move was played by a guy who has a 300, almost 400 points, no, about 400 points higher rating than the guy we played in that other game. curious. Okay, so they play h4. I guess we just castle. We want a pawn. I'm actually thinking that we want to open this game up quickly. We could sacrifice a pawn by playing e5, pawn take, e5, pawn takes, pawn takes, pawn, bishop takes, pawn. We could play c5. We could play knight c6 with the idea of going e5, c5, d5. If we play c5, they play d5. And then we play e6. That looks pretty good. So c5, what if they play d takes c, then we play d takes c. That doesn't look like it. I don't particularly like this knight c3 move, because I hate blocking in my c-pawn with the knight. But I just wanted to see what happens. So if I play e5 now, this is just an experiment. If I play e5, then d takes, and then pawn. And I think I just want to try this out. So if they play d takes e5, I will now play knight takes, which should be pretty good. Okay, they do this instead. They play bishop g5. I think it hangs the pawn here on d4. Pawn takes, and then I was thinking that we could play knight takes on d4. And it looks like our opponent may be collapsing here. We can consider playing a move like rook e8. That would be check. A little check there. I think we will try to get that check in. So they may have... Okay, that is not a very good move. Knight e2, because knight takes on f3 is check. And also it picks up the queen. So I guess we will see a resignation here, perhaps. And yeah, then what? No, okay. Then we see king f2, then we play knight takes, queen on d2. Then I guess bishop takes. Bishop on g takes, back on d2. Then we can consider knight g4 check if they play that. With ideas of coming back to e4, ideas of going to d4 with the bishop. Oh, but we're not getting any of that because our opponent resigned the game. Okay. So for the last stretch of this video, I'll be playing some faster rated games. And we can play, let's play d4. We have white against somebody. Now we can get a proper queen's gambit. I'll just turn this around. Okay, they play d takes, and I always play e3, just so that they may fall into the elephant trap or whatever this is called, and they do. So the game is d4, d5, c4, d takes, c, e3, b5. That's a mistake because we play a4, and then when they play c6 to defend the pawn, we capture that. They recapture, and then the magic moves I have won so many games like this is queen f3. So if you want to employ this trap in your own games, it's d4, d5, c4, d takes, c, which is absolutely fine. Then you play e3, less ambitious than e4, but it has this idea here. And if they play b5, you play a4. And against a6, you just take pawn takes, and they can't recapture because it's pinned to the rook. And against c6, you play pawn takes, and then pawn takes, and then queen f3. And yeah, and sometimes they'll defend with the bishops. You still play pawn takes, bishop takes, knight c3, bishop back to a6, rook takes, bishop, knight takes, bishop, queen f3, I think. Like it's all very good. Let's see, did my opponent leave the game? Our opponent is taking a good long think here. Is it going to be an abandoned game? I guess if they are going to abandon the game, it's going to be easy elo for us. Not easy E like from NWA, but easy elo. Easy elo could actually be kind of a cool hip-hop chess name. What other names could you have as a rapper? Isn't there a guy called Young Elo? Wow, they are playing e5. Okay, so it's not an abandoned game. We are of course just capturing the rook, I think, because we are threatening the knight as well, so they don't have time to play any e takes. Wow, they really did play. Okay, so we capture the knight. I mean, if they play d3, they play. Okay, so they play d takes e3. We could play bishop takes e3. We could play queen takes b5 check. Queen takes b5 check. Bishop d7. Queen e5 check. I think we'll do that. Check. Bishop d7, only move. Queen e5 check. If queen e7 there, then queen takes queen, bishop takes queen, or knight takes queen or something, and then bishop takes pawn on e3. Opponent, good long think here. I don't think there's too much, because if queen d7, we just play queen takes queen, bishop takes queen, bishop takes e3. If king e7, we still play, well, then we may actually, okay, they do play king e7, then we may consider playing bishop takes e3 right away, because that now threatens stuff like bishop c5 check. We could have played rook takes a7 check as well. That would have probably been pretty good. So we will play that now. Rook check. They will probably have to play king here, but that is going to be checkmate, like so. That was a quick game. Shows the power of this little trap here that I played. I've won an unbelievable amount of games with that trap, and it's, if you are playing the Queen's Gambit accepted, which is what they did, then you absolutely must know that trap. You must know that in the Queen's Gambit, you just cannot try to hang on to this pawn. You can just play knight f6 and give the pawn back, and it's fine. It's fine. But don't try to hang on to the pawn. Don't try to hang on to the pawn. Searching for some more rated games on Lichess. Our opponent was rated like 1700 or something in that game. Okay, we have the black pieces. They play knight f3. Let's play d5. I'll turn this around. They play d4. So now we are in some d4 type opening. Let's play knight f6. Let's just play some quick moves, intuitive chess, relaxing. Okay, bishop g5. I guess we just play e6. Have a relaxing time here. Just play some intuitive moves. What if I try to play an entire game without calculating, just playing whatever comes to mind as the first move, just purely intuitive? What happens? What happens? So it's also interesting to not like verbalize out loud what I'm thinking about. Just playing moves like so, like I think our opponent got a little worse after we started playing rated games, which is weird. Not sure how that works, but it's something about that the rating system on leeches is much more forgiving than it is on chess.com, that you need much higher rating on leeches as compared to chess.com. So if you are like 1700 on chess.com, it's absolutely not the same as being 1700 on leeches. What's the rating of this guy actually? Let's check. Okay, this guy is rated a little less than 1100. Chop, chop. Chop, 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 chop. Just playing intuitive moves. Play castle. That's fair. And these intuitive moves, they are fast. I'm not sure they are that good. Like the knight just goes to b4. Okay, like, why am I doing that? It's not necessarily completely clear, but it is. I needed to figure out something to do with that knight, and it was a bit awkward, so I created this route intuitively. Yeah, now I gotta develop the bishop, but I kind of promised myself that I wouldn't verbalize my thoughts, because I'm supposed to play just completely intuitively. So, but I don't know what to do except verbalize my thoughts. It's too hard to not do it. So I'm concerned with the queen rook situation here, so I don't want them to play d5, where there could be some problem with this pin. Let's put the rook opposite their queen. Let's consider actually playing the knight back to d5 if they don't play c4 now. If they don't play c4, we could okay. Let's try put it here. So, okay, takes. Now this position is going to play itself almost. We have this extra bishop. We just need to activate it. Where and how will we be doing that? I think we need to create some weaknesses. So let's just put it on b7 or a6 and then try to get them to make some concessions with their pawns. Okay, they are going for some attack here. Okay, and I see what you're doing. So they want to play queen takes h6. Great idea. We want to defend h6 with our queen. And then we have this very, very significant material advantage, but they have so much they have so much counterplay. Now they're going to play rook f3. That may be a problem. We'll play h5. So we can meet rook f3 by playing queen h6. Sort of trying to defend everything and also buy ourselves a little time. So the idea was this. Oh! Can you spot? Can you spot? Can you spot the problem with that move I played? That was a bit too intuitive, I think. But okay, this is 3 hours of chess, and I think we should try to end this on a wholesome note. That everybody makes mistakes, and sometimes we should just laugh at those mistakes. Some of the lights have gone out as well, so I think it's time to end the video. And I would like to say thank you so much for. Let's just give them the satisfaction of checkmating us, and like so. We lost the game. We got checkmated. That's fine. Sometimes we should just laugh at our mistakes. We get tired. Let's be nice to ourselves and forgive ourselves. And I hope that you had a great time watching this. I hope that you fell asleep or whatever your goal was watching this. I hope you got it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye. Okay, let's have another game. Online, on lead chess. Let's do rated 5 minutes plus 5 seconds against someone random. So let's see. Let's see who we get paired with. Let's see who we will play. Okay, we have the black pieces. They open with c4. Let's do knight f6. If they play d4, we play the Budapest. If they play they play knight e4, so we can't play e5. Let's play g6 here. Okay, they play. So here we can play d5, get into the green felt defense. Not that I know so much about it. Okay, but they do. The correct move there is absolutely to play pawn takes pawn, knight takes e4. And then actually it's not a green felt because they would have needed to play knight c3. So I had to be able to capture on c3. So there I would go back and maybe my position wouldn't be so good. Now I will play bishop g7. And I think this advancement of their pawn is not so good. So what will they come up with? They play bishop g5. We will just castle. And probably will try to undermine this pawn chain, this advanced pawn chain they have. We can maybe consider playing pawn to b6. Okay, so they play queen c1 with the idea of bishop h6. Should we be slick? Try to get cute and play rook to e8, so that after bishop h6 we can play bishop h8. And I think we are doing quite well here. I think their pawn structure is potentially quite bad. We may have ideas of playing pawn to b6, trying to undermine. If they play b4, trying to solidify they will open up this very dangerous diagonal with the one-eyed monster sniper bishop. They play pawn to h3. I'm not sure what that move really is. Let's play b6. If they capture, we just play a takes. And they do play this pawn move here, against which I think we'll not even sure I want to capture that. I'll capture it just. It feels like the easiest way to play the position. Then I can consider bishop a6. They recapture. Let's play bishop a6. Makes it maybe a little hard for them to play e3. We will then want to play maybe knight c6 or just pawn to c6 and knight d7. Our plan is of course to break with pawn to e5 at an opportune moment. I think moves like pawn to c3, queen to a5 check, knight to e4 are all interesting options for us. We could also consider knight c6, knight e4, threatening something. I think we'll just do that. Knight c6 to begin with. Now we're thinking about playing knight e4. We have plenty of time. So they play rook g1. That is interesting. Let's now play knight e4 with ideas like knight takes d4, bishop takes d4, e5. I think we are, I don't want to say that this position is winning, because that seems like hubris, but h4, but I mean we are at the very least doing extremely well here. So let's play knight takes, pawn on d4, because then they have a very big problem, because if they play knight takes knight, we will play bishop takes knight, threatening the rook, and f2, which is, yeah, you're going to see it here. Bishop takes d4, simultaneously threatening on f2 and the rook on a1. And now I'm confident this position is winning. If they have, they can't even stop me. The position is just super good for black. Okay, they play e3. I capture the rook. I'm now up, or we are up. Bunch of material. I'm going to play c6, queen a5 check, and that's going to be game over, I think. Pawn to f3. Is this the kind of moment where we I think something pretty simple like pawn to e5 here, so they can capture the knight, but queen takes h4, that is check, that'll pick up the bishop. like so. You're going to see that now. Queen takes h4, that's check. Now the king will have to move, not sure where. So maybe we can even win straight away. It goes to d1. I think we just play bishop takes bishop. So that after rook takes bishop, we have queen takes bishop on h6, like so. And bishop takes, queen takes h6, like so. So we are up a full rook now, which is very nice. Also, our position is absolutely crushing. So, yeah. Okay, they play pawn takes. I don't think that really works. So they played pawn takes d5. We play rook d8. They can't play e4. Well, they can, but I was thinking that queen takes queen there makes my situation very, very easy. Okay, they do play that, so we just play queen takes queen, that's check. King takes is the only legal move, and then we just shift our focus back to the b file, rook b8, and okay, knight d2. Let's play bishop d4. Not much to do for white here. No attacking chances. I'm just up a rook. It's just pretty nice. And just playing very, very simple chess here. Probably just trade off some more stuff. Knight to b3. I mean, we could capture that and then capture on c6 just to make absolutely sure that there is no counterplay and that there will be no counterplay. So rook takes knight, pawn takes rook, and bishop takes c5. And now we have 6 pawns versus 4 pawns, and we have rook versus rook, and we have bishop versus nothing. So rook to f6. I'm sure that is supposed to do something, but I'm not sure what. So let's play rook b8 and king c2, rook b4, threatening on e4. There's no way to protect it if you want to protect on b3. So I'm going to win a pawn there, pretty sure. And yeah, will they resign maybe? Will they resign? Well, nobody ever won a game by resigning, and it is not unfathomable that I will blunder this position, although it is quite unlikely. They play rook c6, threatening the bishop. And I'm thinking just bishop b6 takes care of everything. They still have the same problem. They can, of course, hang on to their pawn by playing rook c4. But then rook takes rook, pawn takes rook, and then it's going to be really difficult. You just have 4 pawns left against 6 pawns and a bishop. That's not... that is what they do. So this game, I guess, is sort of just a study in simple chess. Gain a material advantage, just trade down. Look how easy it is now. Let's just play h5, just make a new queen. There's nothing they can do about it. The king can't be on both sides of the board, so I'm just advancing this pawn. The king isn't even in the square, so they can't even get to the pawn. I'll just advance the pawn here. Very, very simple. And this could be a spot for them to resign. I have the queen ready here to make a new queen if we need to. And they did resign. Okay. Thank you for the game. We were playing against Petrov 6 with a rating of 1642 in that game. So let's reset the board. And have another game. I think we got somebody rated a bit higher there. And it wasn't a very challenging game, but I think they ended up in a pawn structure that they were not really comfortable in with their advancement of the pawn there. So yeah. And I should remind you, I probably said this a couple of hours ago as well, but if you want the board here, you can buy it, and I get my channel gets support from ChessUp, who makes the board, and you will get a 10% discount if you buy it. So just be sure to use the link in the description and use the promo code also in the description if you want to buy the board. Let's do a new game. I'll play any color, only chess. Let's just do 5 minutes again and see who we get. Who will we get? Okay, we are white against Selçuk Bu with a rating of 1532. Let's play e4. Just see if I can. Okay, they play e6, so we play d4. Let me just turn this around. Okay, and they play d5. Okay. Let's see what we can come up with here. Maybe I should actually have played the 2 knights version of this. I will play knight d2. That's the Taraj, I think this is called. I think Ding and Nepomniachtchi played this in the World Championship. And here, what was the continuation? It's just knight f3, right? Here, I think, just protecting the pawns. This is okay, and now we see knight c6. So I have to look out for my pawn. Do I play c3? I don't think I play c3. Do I play bishop b5? Let's do that. Be prepared to give up this light squared bishop if they play a6. This is an opening I know absolutely nothing about. I think Nepomniachtchi or Jan Nepomniachtchi played when Ding Liren, or Ding Lixin, as you say. Okay, so when he played the French against him. He did this setup here. I believe that was how it went. And I'm completely out of my depth here, but now I know that I have to play knight takes, bishop takes knight. Because otherwise I may get in trouble. Now the C E pawn is threatened. I'm not sure what I want to do against that. How about E takes D5? Trying to keep it a little bit simple. If they play bishop takes, they do play bishop takes. Here my idea was to play C4, and you see how these two knights are working together in this opening now. But I think what they can do, but I'm not sure if it works, is what they are going for here. No, this is the wrong way to go about it. I think they should have played C takes D first, because now after knight takes F3, they played bishop takes F3. I play knight takes F3, and now we get this situation where I can play queen takes backed up by the knight, and if they try some check on A5 or B4 with the queen or the bishop, I have just bishop. Okay, so now they play knight F6, and I think position is pretty simple. I'll just castle, get out of the way, and I think I got out of the opening. I made a mistake, but it wasn't punished. I think it was a mistake that I allowed C takes D4, but they didn't punish it. Now they play queen takes queen. I play knight takes queen. And okay, they play bishop C5. Maybe knight B5 is an idea, but I could also just play bishop E3, because bishop E3 protects the knight, and now it's kind of more fully developed. I'm not sure what this knight move does. They play knight E4. Not exactly sure what that does. I think I will consider kicking their bishop. I play A3. The point is B4. Then hopefully bishop takes bishop. They play it prophylactically right away. And then bishop takes bishop. And I'm okay. I was afraid I was missing something with that knight, but I don't think so. So should we play rook F to D, rook FD1? And in principle, we should have a good position here. The knight should be a little worse than the bishop in this endgame. And this 3 against 2 majority over here should also be quite good. And here I think I will go for exchanges with a simple move bishop E3. They played rook FD8, and I think I'll just try to make this a very simple situation. They play A6, just a simple move to improve their position a little bit. I will play H3. I am also in no rush. Now I can't get back rank checkmated that easily. They play rook on A to C5, and that may That may be a good move. I will have to protect my pawn. And I think the first thing I should do... Okay, I will play pawn to b3. I will play pawn to b3, hoping that this all holds. They play rook takes rook. I play rook takes rook. They can play now knight c3, and that is what they are doing. But is that a big problem? Is it? It threatens the rook, but does it do anything else? Knight e2 is check, but is that dangerous? Doesn't seem like it. So let's try to infiltrate with rook d7. Now the bishop is threatening on a7 and the rook is threatening on b7. And I kind of hope that their knight is going to be embarrassed on this adventure. You know, knights, brave knights, sometimes go on adventures, but it doesn't always end as in A Knight's Tale, where the knight wins everything. Because after rook b8 is what they played, I can play bishop takes a7, I think. And the point is rook a8, and the bishop would move and they would be attacking a3. But I think I can play, they do play rook a8, I think I can play bishop c5, which protects a3. And okay, they played bishop f2 check. I will play king f1. I don't have that much time in this position, so let me make some quick moves here. Knight, they played knight f4, I played rook takes b7. Now I just need to not blunder too badly. And everything should be good. Let's see what we can do here. Knight e5, f4. Let's play some quick moves so we don't lose some time. Try to protect everything. Are we close to embarrassing that knight? We are, so they capture, we recapture with the pawn. And they can play rook b3, but c5 is pretty good. And c6 and c7, and that is the game, because check, and that is all she wrote. We have a new queen. It's a very simple, nice game here, just a matter of technique, but no fancy. Wow, they don't even, okay, they allow us to checkmate. Look at that fancy checkmate. And these couple of games here are really nice because it's just not a lot of fancy tactics or anything. It's just simple chess, get some advantage, push the advantage, win. No fancy fireworks, no sacrifices, no deep calculation or anything, just safe, simple chess, like a good pupil of Capablanca. Capablanca, Capablanca. I've had some comments that people say that they like the way I say Capablanca. And I should do more videos on that guy, because that guy was just the coolest chess player in all of history. He was like this supreme gentleman and always extremely well dressed, always extremely well mannered, and he played like he's one of Magnus Carlsen's favorite players because he played even 100 years ago. He played very, very correct, sound chess, and he always strived to play even simpler chess. He always strived to just keep it as like learning. He felt basically that the more simple the strategy you could have, if you could make it work, if you could have a good strategy that was simple, then you would get closer to the truth of chess, which I think is quite interesting. Now let's have a new game. I kind of like this, what we're doing with playing on lead chess, and we play rated 5 minutes plus 5 seconds. So let's do that again. And maybe I should, okay, they play d4. Let's play knight f6. We haven't had a Budapest defense yet. Should I turn the... Okay, we're not going to get a Budapest defense. They play knight f3, so we play g6. I'll just leave the board here. No reason to turn it around. No, let's turn it around. They play bishop g5. Let's play bishop g7, and then let's turn the board around. Turning the board around. Like so. They play knight f3. Let's play d6. Thinking about castling. They play e4. We castle. If they play bishop c4, we're going to play c6, but they do. So you'll get to see this. The point here is c6. We want to play b4. Can I do the fork trick here? I think I can. So here they castle, so I actually could have done that the move earlier. So I play knight takes on e4. Is that what I want to do? Knight takes e4, knight. Can they play bishop takes f7? So the idea is knight takes e4, knight takes d5. They're going to see that that's what I want to do. So let's say knight e4, bishop takes f7, rook takes, and then knight takes. So that's an even exchange. I think we'll go for it. Knight takes e4. Either they will play bishop takes f7 to get out of the fork, or they will play knight takes e4, in which case we will play d5, forking the bishop. Yes, they do this. They play bishop takes on f7, rook takes on f7, knight takes knight, and probably here d5 is good. Or bishop c5 could also be okay. It's a little more flexible maybe. Okay, rook e1 protecting the knight. Maybe that allows me to play something like let's first play knight d7, which is a blunder now, because they have, and they missed, because they had knight takes d6, which they missed, luckily for us. We are still in a little bit of trouble, but we can manage this. So let's play bishop g4 here. They kick that bishop right away, but that's a problem because we now play bishop takes knight, and they have to recapture with the pawn, so now their pawn structure is not so good. And we can play queen f7. That should be pretty good, targeting that f3 pawn. Okay, they protect with rook to e3. They seem to be playing pretty well. Let's improve our knight. I think the knight looks pretty good on d5, but it can be kicked. So let's say knight f6, and they play c4. So maybe we have to actually play b5 first. So they can't play c4. Okay, they play queen e2, trying to put a lot of pressure on the pawn on e7, but I think it's pretty good for us if we just play e5. That should be quite good. And this is a much more tactical game than what we have had the last couple of games. I think our opponent may be pretty strong. What's their rating? 1649 is their rating. And here I think that knight takes is potentially a pretty good move. Knight takes e5, because now we are tripling the attack on f3. They play king. Wow. So we have some options. I don't like all of them. We could play knight c4, attacking the rook. We would then maybe see rook e7. I think actually their bishop may be trapped here. So I think h6, potentially a crushing move, because I'm not sure where the bishop is going. Because if you go to f4 like they did, we just capture it. And we are now winning. I was feeling my position looked okay. They play rook e1. Should we try maybe just queen f7 with the idea rook f8 and just trade everything off on f3 with advantage? Probably that is pretty good. They play rook e4. No, they don't. They play knight e4. Makes a lot more sense. That is, of course, threatening the pawn on d6. So let's protect it with... Oh, I lost on time in this winning position, which is okay. So what are they going to do here? There's not really anything for them to do. But of course, if I chill so much, hang out so much, and just have a good time to the point where I lose on time, that's a way for them to win. And that is completely okay with me. Had a good time in this game. Let's have another one. Reset the board. Put all the pieces back in place. Like so. So, and let's have a new game. Let's do online, lead chess, random, lead chess, rated game. Let's do a 5+5 again against someone random. And let's see who we get. And the biggest and most important thing for me after playing for some hours here is if I have to turn the board around or not. I think I will actually rather have the disadvantage of playing with the black pieces than I will have the disadvantage of having to turn the board around one more time. Now, let's see who we get. And we are facing d4. We play knight f6. We're playing Jaschik. c4. Jaschik has a rating of 1469. And we can play the Budapest defense. Or the Budapest Gambit. And they capture. Let's see if we can have some fun. Knight to g4. Do they know this opening? Will they play e4? That is sort of the modern way of dealing with this, or bishop to f4, which is also very solid. We play bishop b4 check. Okay, they play knight c3. Maybe they have been watching my videos. Let's play knight c6. Now we have two attackers on this pawn here. Okay, they play h3. They have not watched my videos. Kick the knight, but the knight wants to capture on e5 anyway. So the knight will capture on e5. And we are actually out of book. They play bishop takes knight. Knight takes bishop. And we have maybe like a little advantage here. Okay, they play queen d4. That seems a bit much. I will play queen e7. Threatening like a million different things. I think bishop c5 may be one of the strongest threats right now. Okay, they play e3. So do we play c5 or do we play bishop? Or do we just castle? In fact, let's just castle. I don't think I'm in a rush in any way. I can reserve moves like bishop c5. Okay, they play bishop e2. So how about a move like d5? If pawn takes, I mean, doesn't look particularly good. What about something like c6 with the idea of preparing d5? That could maybe be something. Also allows me to potentially play pawn to f5 at some point. Okay, interesting kind of idea they have here. Knight or bishop to f3, which I'm very tempted to just capture. But that's not what they play. They play knight f3. So I guess just rook e8. Just rook e8 here. And what do you guys think of my position? Or are you fast asleep? Okay, they castle. Let's play. If we play d5, c takes, knight takes, that's not so good. Let's see if we can let's play bishop c5, harass this queen a little bit. If we see something like queen e4, we're going to play. Okay, this queen all the way back to d1. Okay. Now I'm thinking that just d6 is pretty good, opening up this bishop. And in the Budapest defense, you often have these bishop takes h3 check sacrifices for some attack. They play knight. Okay, that's a good move. I like that move by them. Knight to d5. Attacking this d6 pawn, which is weak. And attacking the bishop. But maybe I can play knight takes c4. That temporarily defends, and when they play bishop takes, I can then play queen takes knight. So let's try that, see if that works. No, it does not work, or maybe it does, but it's very risky what I'm doing, because now they can play knight takes c5. That is also their choice. So now my knight is attacked and I don't have any queen takes here. So now I have to play knight takes b2 with a threat on the queen. So I won 2 pawns for my blunder there. That's at least how it looks to me. They play queen c2. And I guess I have to can I try to save the knight in any way? It's going to be extremely difficult. It's going to be extremely difficult. So I could play pawn takes knight, queen takes knight. Or I could play queen e5, maybe rook. I can't play queen e5, I have to play pawn takes. Okay. And they will play queen takes. We will play rook b8, so that we can activate the bishop. And our position is very, very, very bad. We have to admit. I have to admit. The position is extremely bad. But okay, they play a4. Let's try to activate this bishop. Bishop f4, f5. They play a4. They played a4. Now what do we do? Rook fd1. Maybe bishop e4 does a thing, or maybe it doesn't. Who knows? Rook ac8. Maybe against this whole thing b6 is okay. Let me just play some quick moves now, so I won't lose on time. Is there a way to activate? It's going to be really difficult to activate anything here. Okay, knight there. So I think they are maybe allowing me into the game a little bit too much here with these checks and stuff. That so it's still very, very problematic for me, but it may be possible to save. Maybe. I'm not saying it is, but it could be. Okay, here, that's interesting. Check. There. Let's do this. I guess knight f1 is the move now. Yep. We're still trying to play bishop takes h3. But we are not really happy campers here. But it's a bit of a struggle, and I kind of think that's interesting. Okay, this move is quite nice, but how about here, queen g5, still with the idea of bishop takes h3. Now we have a checkmate threat that they may have to meet like this. And can we takes? No, that does not work. So let's play h5. And we are pretty to losing this on time, but now I put my queen on pre because I was so low on time, so they capture that and we will lose on time, and that is fair. So that is, it's quite rare I lose in the Budapest. Can we do a rematch? No, he left us. It's fair enough. I just blundered a piece. I was trying to get clever. That's what happens, particularly when we relax. And that is just absolutely okay. And the thing also that my intuition said that there was something wrong with the move. And usually I just always try to go with my intuition because it's smarter than I am. And I didn't hear, and now I think next time I am in a similar situation, my intuition will be louder because it really wants me to listen to it. And that is also a good thing. I actually believe that getting good at anything is more or less just learning how to listen to your intuition. And now I'm playing a rapid game. 15 minutes. Plus 10 seconds for every move. And I'm playing against Su008 FX with a rating of 1587. And they play the C3 Sicilian. I don't know much about this opening, but I do have this system where I play d5. The point is if they take, okay, they don't, they play e5. That is surprising. That looks like it could be a little dubious. I will play knight c6. The point was if pawn takes pawn, queen takes, they can't play knight f3 to chase the queen because they already played f3, so they played like this instead. And can I just play, they play knight f3, can I just play d4? Because if I can play d4, which I did, I may have gained some advantage here out of the opening. Let's see. They play bishop to e2. Bishop to e2. Bishop to e2. I will... Like, am I playing d3 here? There is no way to really win that pawn back for them, it looks like. So let's play d3. And they have to play bishop back, that's fine. So let's just play c4, nice and easy. Solidify this. So if this works out for me, this is going to be a positional crush. Didn't I have a game like this earlier in this session, like 2 hours ago or something, where I was doing kind of the same thing, except I maybe had the white pieces in that game. But the whole like getting a protected pawn to cramp their position, like this is a huge problem for them if they don't find a way out. It's very important that I have this knight here to block checks on a4, because otherwise queen a4 check defends somehow and picks up the c4 pawn. They are having a great big think here. What could they do? Let's say they play b3, trying to undermine this. I just play b5, I'm okay with that. Let's say they play g3, trying to play bishop g2 castles against g3. Bishop g4 could be good, pinning this knight. What other moves do they even really have? Here is a move, knight a3. That is the kind of move that they want to play, because knight a3 threatens on c4, and I cannot play, probably cannot play b5 against that move, because we could then see knight takes. But I may be happy to give up that pawn. Let's say knight a3, b4, knight a3, b5, knight takes, b5. What kind of moves could we have there? We could have a move like queen b6 that threatens the knight, but the knight can then go to d4, knight takes knight, knight takes knight, and that's I think we can rule out b5 against knight. Oh, they resigned. They just resigned the game. Crazy, but let's say knight a3. I need a move against this. Move maybe like bishop e6. That could be a possible move. But then b3. So I'm not sure I like bishop e6. I'm not sure I like that. So what is the correct way? Let me just turn the board off for a moment here, so it's not flashing like that. How about a move like queen d5? That could be good. Usually I would be loathed to play this move so early, but what are they going to do now? Centralizing the queen extremely. This looks like a killer blow. It may not be, but it looks like it. Let's say they play b3, and the thing here is now I can play b5. Yeah, that looks queen d5 against knight a3. That looks like the decider. They have so few things they can really do here. It's so cramped. Like what could they possibly do? Because okay, queen d5 is an amazing move. Let's say they try this in order to play bishop g2, fianchetto get castle, but then this looks really good. Or maybe I just capture the knight, capture the pawn here. Because because if knight takes, then I'm not sure if it's even best to capture the rook. I'm not sure if it's best to capture the knight. Maybe the best is knight or queen e4, check. And if they interpose the queen, I just capture the queen, that's easy. If they interpose this, I capture here, they go back, I go here, they go here, and I capture this. So yeah, okay. So maybe they were right that the game was done with. And with that, I will leave you. If you are watching all the way to this point, I will say that you are amazing. How cool is that? I kind of hope you are asleep, but if you are not, you rock. Thanks for watching. I hope I will see you in the next